welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lorena Regalado and I'm so happy that you are here. You should absolutely subscribe down below, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I have truly missed you. You guys have literally been blowing up my YouTube comments, DMs, asking me when was the next time I was going to post. I was going to make an appearance on my YouTube channel again, and guys, if y'all only knew how chaotic these past couple months have been, you guys would probably understand why I have not made an appearance. For those of you that have been following my YouTube channel for some time now, you guys obviously already noticed from the thumbnail that the setting is completely different. The environment has shifted, it has changed, and that is because exactly 1 month ago, my fiance and I decided to get an apartment together and move out of our childhood home. That is where we are now. Let me just tell you guys, the whole process of moving out has been so crazy. Definitely stay in tune for some move-in vlogs. I have been filming like little snippets over the past couple months of us building furniture, of us organizing our apartment. It is nowhere near to be done, but we are slowly and surely getting there. Another thing that has been going on is I got a new job at one of my local hospitals, which we will get into later in the video, but it has just been really chaotic, like trying to figure out my schedule and everything of when I'm gonna be doing all my little hobbies and stuff. So this video is not to talk about what has been going on the past couple months. This video is to talk about nursing. I've been getting a lot of questions on nursing specific things and my whole process of becoming a nurse, and that is exactly what this video is about. I'm literally going to explain to you guys to the T my whole nursing journey. And before I get any further into the video, I did want to say that nursing has obviously its pros and cons, but it has been such a rewarding career ever since I started. And every single day I do feel like I'm helping someone. I do feel like I'm making an impact in someone's life, whether it's the smallest things I do when I'm on the floor or when I'm off of the floor. I never thought that nursing or a career like this would impact my life so much, and it has literally shifted me into the person that I am today. In addition to that, nursing has so many career pathways. Like, you guys can literally do anything with a nursing degree, and the opportunities just come to you, and you have like so many opportunities to choose from. So now that being said, for all of you who are whether deciding you want to go into nursing or are a new grad nurse or have been in nursing for some time now and just want a little change in scenery, this video is definitely going to help you decide what you want to do with your nursing degree, or it's gonna convince you to become a nurse. Let's wind back to literally the way that my parents raised me, because the way that my parents raised me influenced me 100% to becoming a nurse. My parents always raised me to be confident and to love myself no matter what. That being said, when Lorena went into middle school, I had a lot of friends who didn't like certain things about themselves. Just naturally and normally, being young girls, we're always going to want to change something about ourselves. We're always going to want to look a different way. We're like, oh, I don't like my nose. Oh, I wish I had bigger boobs. Girl, you haven't even fully developed yet. But obviously, like when we're in middle school, we don't think that way. I remember thinking, I wish I could convince them otherwise. Like, these beautiful girls would be complaining. I really wanted to make a difference. I really wanted to make an impact in those individuals' lives. Middle school Lorena wanted to be a plastic surgeon. She wanted to go to med school. That is exactly what I went through my whole middle school thinking. I went into high school thinking I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Now Lorena is in high school. She is finishing her sophomore year, and her mother, my mom, comes to me and she talks to me about this academic advisor that she met from a local technical college that was around 30 minutes away from my house. She mentioned that they were offering a nursing program for high school students. I immediately said no. I said I was not interested, only because I was so focused on enjoying my high school years and wanting to get that high school experience. I just was not interested in adding something new to my life that would prevent me from being able to go to the football games, to the dances, to like all the activities. So I told my mom no. We literally got into the biggest argument because she was like, how stupid can you be to like opportunity literally just just get out of your hands. And I was like, I just don't want to do it. Like, sure, I can do it once I graduate. I just don't want to introduce that to my life as a high school student. I knew what it entailed, and I knew that I would have to take a step back, not be able to go out or participate in like high school events because I would be stuck home studying. I was not ready for the responsibility, nor I was mature enough to do that. After we had that whole argument, my mom would mention it every day, and long story short, she convinced me to apply. As she tried to convince me, I started convincing myself that it was a good idea because it would put my foot in the door of the medical field, and I would start getting experience. I would start at an early age. I would graduate high school being a nurse, making money that no 18-year-old would be making at that time. I told myself, if I apply and I get accepted, well, it's time to put on our big girl pants and get to studying and really focus and like say goodbye to all the extra stuff at high school. And if they say no, oh well, I get to live that high school life. Well, let me just tell you, God had different plans for me. God wanted me to become a nurse already, so they accepted me into the program. The program was 2 years because I was going to be going to it part-time. The program that I was accepted to in high school was my LPN program, Licensed Practical Nurse Program. The way that that program worked was for the first 4 hours of my school day, I would be at my high school and I would get an hour break. And in that hour, I had to eat my lunch and drive the 30 minutes to the technical school. And then for the rest of the day, up until 3:30, I would be at my technical college doing my nursing courses. Now, I'm gonna be completely transparent with you guys. Although I agreed to participate in the nursing program in high school, I did not give it my 100% effort. I could have done a lot better than what I ended up doing grade-wise, because I could have gotten straight A's because I could have done it. I just was not interested. My whole mindset when I was in LPN school was just passing. I just wanted to pass no matter what grade I had. And I realized once I started working as an LPN, that was the worst mistake I could have made, because if I would have actually studied the way I should have studied, I would have not struggled as much. Now with my LPN program, our cohort in our junior year started with about 35 students. Only the top 15 that had that best grades could move on to their senior year. It was very competitive. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of like fighting in a sense, because people really wanted to be in that top 15. And luckily for me, I was in the top 15 along with all my other friends. I loved the content. I loved what I was learning, but the fact of sitting down and studying for hours, like I could not get a grasp on that. And yeah, so that was basically it. At the end of our junior year or the beginning of our senior year, one or the other, COVID hit. Let me tell you guys something about COVID. COVID literally kept us from going to clinicals. The thing about going to LPN school while you're in high school, you don't do your clinicals at a hospital because not everybody's 18. So we would have to go into nursing homes. Due to that, a lot of the nursing homes shut down because of COVID. And when they shut down because of COVID, nursing students cannot go to clinicals, like period. I think we only got 1 whole month of clinicals our senior year, and that was towards the very end of it. Once people were like used to COVID, we had to literally be testing every week. If we tested positive, we would have to be out for the whole 2 weeks. Guys, let me just tell you guys, I'm so thankful for the parents that I have, because if they would have not been harsh or difficult, I don't know where I would be right now. I would definitely still have that mindset of like being in the air in literally other terms, because I did not know what I was doing as a high school student. As you guys know by now, I passed my LPN program back in 2021. I graduated, I got my certificate. Something that they don't tell you when you're in LPN school is that, yeah, you're learning the material, but they don't really teach you how to apply it. So you only really realize the negative effects of that when you take your NCLEX. I took my NCLEX a total of 3 times. I finished my LPN program in July of 2021. I took my first NCLEX in October, took my second NCLEX in December, and then I took my last opportunity in May of 2022. And let me just tell you guys something. When you go through a whole program and you're trying to pass the state exam and you don't pass it the first or the second time, it really hits your ego. Really makes you mad at yourself for not focusing well enough. Makes you regret a lot of the decisions that you made in nursing school, and it just really takes a toll on your confidence. It did make me upset all the time. I was like, why, if my other classmates are passing their NCLEX, why am I not? In nursing school, they don't teach you, at least in my LPN school, they didn't teach me how to apply the material I was learning. Let me get something straight. One thing is learning the material, but another is learning how to apply it. In nursing school and on the NCLEX, they tried to trick you in ways. You would only get the question right if you knew how to apply the information that you had learned. While I took my NCLEX those 3 times, I was also going to Florida Gulf Coast University to get my bachelor's in biology. I was taking 6 college classes on top of studying for the NCLEX. At this point, I still wanted to be a plastic surgeon. That also had an impact because I wasn't really able to focus as much as I wanted to for the NCLEX. I was so focused on passing all these other college courses that would determine if I could become a plastic surgeon or not. It was very difficult times, very difficult times, and it was just not, it was not fun. It was not fun. The first and second time that I took my LPN NCLEX, I studied off of a book that my technical college had given me. I learned that book front to back, but like I said earlier, you can learn the material, but if you don't know how to apply it, you're not gonna pass the exam. And that's exactly what happened to me the first and second time. So after I took it the second time, I decided to take a break. I did not open a single book for a whole 2 months. So from January to March, I did not look at anything. At the very end of March, I booked my 3rd appointment for the NCLEX. I heard about Mark Fleming and UWorld. UWorld is a site that gives you real NCLEX questions. So questions that have been on the NCLEX or questions that are very similar to those on the NCLEX. What I really liked about UWorld was that it really made you, even the format of the site was just like the NCLEX, made you feel like you were taking the NCLEX over and over again. But apart from that, whenever you would get a question wrong, it would tell you why you got it wrong. Just reading that and reading the rationales and reading why I was getting the questions wrong really helped. Mark Fleming is a person that used to write questions for the NCLEX. However, he has his own course that goes through the big topics of the NCLEX and gives you tips and tricks on how to answer the questions and memorize certain things. I literally memorized his lectures word for word. While I was studying for my 3rd attempt for my LPN NCLEX, life was not fun. I really focused. Like, I really told myself, we have to pass it on the 3rd try because we do not have any more opportunity. My life was literally like this. Wake up at 6 in the morning. From 7 to 10 in the morning, I would go to the library and do practice questions or listen to the Mark K lectures. And from 10 to 2, I would attend my college classes. Then from 3 to 8 p.m., I would go to work at Kate Spade because at that point I was working at Kate Spade. From 10 to 12 midnight or maybe 1 in the morning, I would go back to the library and study some more. That was my life for a whole month. I was going to school at Florida Gulf Coast University. I was living in Fort Myers. I would come home every single weekend. But when I was studying for my 3rd attempt, I literally had to sit down my parents and be like, hey, listen, if y'all want me to pass my exam, I cannot come at all. Like, I need to take my weekends and actually study if I really want to pass my exam. And that's exactly what I did. I did not come home for a whole month. I literally would study Monday through Sunday, and it was crazy. Okay, it was insane. I still don't believe how I was able to do that or balance it all, but there you go. Blocked my life out of everybody else's. I had scheduled my NCLEX for the very end of April, but when I got close to the date, I got really nervous and I was like, no, I don't feel ready yet. So I pushed it back 2 more weeks and I scheduled it for May 4th. But when I took my NCLEX the 3rd time, I did not tell a single soul, not even a single person. My parents didn't know, my friends didn't know, Nobody knew I was taking my NCLEX because I didn't want to feel the pressure that I was feeling previously of everyone knowing that I was gonna take it, trying to figure out how I was gonna tell them that I didn't pass it again. So I made the decision to not tell anyone. I woke up the day of the NCLEX in Fort Myers because I'm still living in Fort Myers at this point. I woke up 4 in the morning. I drove to Port Charlotte, which was where my testing site was, and from where I was living in Fort Myers, it was like a 45-minute drive, and I got to the testing site around like 6:30. I had told my parents the day previously that that day I was going to be in finals in Fort Myers, so I could not talk, I could not answer calls. I would call them in the afternoon. And when I got to the testing site, I turned off my location. Exam wasn't until 8. I started making my way in at 7:30. Guys, at this point, I'm literally shaking. I cannot focus. I'm gonna fail this shit again. Although I felt like I was a lot more prepared, I still had that fear that I wouldn't pass again. So yeah, I went in there, they took my phone, they got my fingerprints, they got my handprints, they sat me down, they explained all the rules to me. Lorena's taking the exam. For my third attempt, I got to 145 questions, which is the max. And that's when I was like, I failed. I was so confident that I had failed because I had reached 145 questions. If you guys didn't know, the NCLEX is adaptive testing. So you can get anywhere from 85 questions to 145. However, if you do really well on those first 85 questions, your computer can shut off at 85. Now, if you do really bad first 85 questions, they'll give you more questions to see if you can recover those lost points and pass within the 145. Your computer can literally shut off anywhere after 85 and anywhere before 145, and you not know if you passed or not because you don't get your results until the day after. My computer shut off at 145. I really thought I failed. I literally went into my car, cried my eyes out, and then I was like, I'm not going back to Fort Myers. I was like, I'm not going back. I need to go see my family. So I wiped off my tears. I drove home. Since I hadn't seen my parents in a whole month, I was really missing them. So I was like, you know what, let's just tell them. I took my finals at FGCU this morning and I decided, oh well, since I have the afternoon off, I'll just go and spend it with my family. The next day in the morning, I drove back to Fort Myers. When I get to my dorm, I pull out my laptop and I log in and I'm like putting all my stuff in, and typically you can't see your scores until a couple days later, but there was a trick that you could do by putting in your card information, paying like $7 for you to find out like exactly 24 hours after. Press submit. Then they were like, okay, your results are populating. I literally put my hand in front of my computer like this, and I knew that the pass or the fail was on the other side of my hand. And I was like, I don't know if I want to see this. I was like, I don't know if I want to ruin my day like this. I don't know if I just need to change my career today. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna see. When I removed my hand, I saw that I had passed my LPN NCLEX. And I literally immediately burst into tears. Like, I cannot explain to you guys the relief, the excitement, just the relief off of my shoulders that I felt when I saw that pass. After I passed my LPN NCLEX, I took a month off just to really relax. I moved back home. After I was done with all the LPN schooling and all the testing for the NCLEX, I had a reality check and I realized I did not want to be studying like that up until my late 30s. I wanted to start forming my family in my mid-20s. I wanted to get married in my mid-20s. I didn't want to focus so much time and effort into school for so long when there were other opportunities that could lead me into a similar route. So I decided that I would go for my RN. However, before deciding I wanted to go into my RN, I did take like almost a year off to just focus on working because I wanted to save up to buy myself a house. I wanted to save up and really get my finances going. I wanted to become as independent as possible. I got a job with one of my local staffing agencies. So I started to work as an agency nurse, and an agency nurse basically goes to a different nursing home every single day. So you have different patients, different meds. Some locations are easier than others. Some are horrible and they treat you like crap, but luckily for me, I got along with a lot of the management at the majority of the nursing homes, so I would always have somewhere to go, and I was able to pick and choose where I wanted to go and the hours I wanted to go while still making a lot more than a facility nurse. I was literally making 33 on weekdays and 35 on the weekends, and nobody made that kind of money as a 19-year-old. And that's when I realized that my mom was right in convincing me to do the LPN program, because I was able to really build up my savings and my finances at a very young age. I really fell in love with nursing at this point. I fell in love with working. I fell in love with just making my money and going somewhere and helping like the elderly. Like, I loved my job, and I still love my job. But the nursing home, after some time, will literally discourage you a little bit. I worked as an agency nurse for a year and a half. I was approaching a year and a half. It got to a point where my shifts were getting canceled because the facilities didn't want agency anymore. There wasn't a lot of opportunities. There wasn't a lot of shifts to pick up. I decided to pick my favorite nursing facility and just become a staff nurse for them. Since they knew me, they always preferred me over somebody else from the agency. I was able to negotiate, and I was able to get them to match my agency pay. I worked with them for a whole year and a half. While I started working with them, I started my RN program at Galen College of Nursing. When I started my RN program, that is when I realized I fell in love with studying. The studying that I did not do in LPN school, I did in RN school. I loved understanding the whys to something, seeing, oh, this happens when this happens, and this is why this happens when that happens. There's no words to explain to you guys how much I loved studying. At that point in my life, I was literally preferring to stay home and study than go out with anyone. At that point, I was already dating my fiance. I'm gonna get into a couple of specific details about Galen, because I do know a lot of y'all have been asking me specifically things about Galen. The admission process was very quick. Literally took them just a month. In the year, I think they have like 4 starting dates. Every 3 months, they have like a new cohort starting their RN program. Other thing I really liked about them is that they have their prerequisites built into their nursing course. So since I was an LPN already, I was doing an LPN to an RN bridge program, which is just LPNs getting their RNs. Another thing is that their semesters run by 3 months. So every 3 months is a semester. My whole time at Galen was 18 months. First 2 semesters were just completing the prereqs that I had not had done previously. Those were all online. I think I only had to go to campus once a week, just for like an hour. After you complete those first 2 prerequisites, you start your nursing core classes, and there's 4 semesters of those. The first semester was MedSurg 1 and pharmacology. The professor that I had for those courses was amazing. I finished that course with A's. First semester, you also have lab. We learned how to like insert the peripheral IVs. We learned to modify our head to toe assessments, but the lab was honestly just more busy work and a lot of nursing math exams. First month of that semester, we had no clinical. After that month was over, we had 1 clinical every other week. The second semester is mom and baby and mental health. This is the semester where my motivation and everybody's confidence dipped to the floor, because our professor for mom and baby was brand new. She didn't really have a grasp on teaching yet. Whenever we had a doubt, there was no clarification. It was just very difficult to learn from this professor. Mental health, we had another professor. She taught us the first 2 weeks or the first 3 weeks. After that, she had to get a surgery, and she had many complications, and she was never able to return. We were learning off of pre-recorded videos that she had recorded for us. But again, it's not the same. We had 4 clinical days for mom and baby and 4 clinical days for mental health, and they would rotate. So 1 week it would be mom and baby, the other week it would be mental health, 1 week just like that. This was the semester where we lost most of our cohort. I was almost one of those students, because I was still working these crazy hours while still trying to pass these 2 courses that were completely useless. This was when there was like a reality check for all of us, and we were like, no professor is the same. We already had a really good professor the first semester. We're not gonna have another one like him the rest of the whole nursing program. If I would have not scored as high on the last exams for mom and baby and mental health, I would have had to repeat the course. However, your girl passed. After that semester, you have advanced MedSurg. You only have that 1 class, and you have 11 clinical days. Clinical the first week, but then after that week, you have clinical every single week up until the end of the quarter. We had a brand new teacher, but she had so much knowledge. She knew how to implement her knowledge and kind of teach her with what her experiences were. This was the semester where you had to learn how to apply the knowledge. You couldn't just memorize something. You had to learn how to apply it to the questions and to the answers. She really helped me understand where I was messing up. We also had like an ATI, which is like a standardized exam that comes from like a whole different system, and you have 2 chances to take that. If you don't pass it the first time, you get to take it a second time, but if you don't pass neither, you can't advance to your next semester. You have to sit out a whole semester and do a remediation for ATI, but lucky for me, I passed that as well on the first try and didn't have any issues with that. Now, your last semester is the most difficult. By this time in my student RN experience, I had it engraved in my head that if it was meant for me, it would be meant for me. Don't stress about things that are outside of your control, because if it's outside of your control and you can't control it and it's still meant for you, focus, do what you can, and it'll come to you regardless of how you're feeling and how overwhelmed you are. It will come to you. That is something that RN school truly taught me, because as long as you put the effort in, no matter what grades or what you're scoring, as long as you put the effort in and you reach out to your resources and you really try to understand where you're messing up on it and how to get better and how to like change that mindset, you will pass. Last semester was probably the semester where I was the most calm. I was not worried. I was not agitated as much, although I thought multiple times I was gonna fail that semester. Last semester at Galen is transitions and leadership. Leadership is more of a class that's super easy. It's just more busy work and getting assignments completed, and that is it. You have no exams, you got nothing. Now, transitions is where you have all your exams. You have 3 exams that cover everything that you have learned, especially from LPN school. Now, you see where I'm going with this. You had to pull out your notes from all the classes, from all the courses, and literally look at them every single day and answer practice questions. This semester was more of getting you prepared for the NCLEX, because that's basically what the NCLEX is. You don't know what questions you're gonna get on the NCLEX, and everybody gets different questions on the NCLEX. Again, 3 comps and 2 ATIs. If you didn't pass the first ATI, you had that second chance, and then if you passed it, you were good to go. But if you passed the first ATI, you could have failed the second one, because everybody had to take their ATI twice, like mandatorily. You didn't have to pass the second time. Like you could have gotten a 50 or a 40 on the second time and it wouldn't have affected you. You could still go on. I failed the first time, but I still had that second opportunity, and then for the second time I passed. The comps were honestly very difficult, because the way that Galen forms their questions, it is so much harder than the NCLEX. Like, I remember sitting in class and being like, why are these questions 100 times harder than the NCLEX? It was honestly difficult, but that's when like a lot of review came in and a lot of like going back to foundations came in. Long story short, I passed my comps as well. We passed everything. Everything was good. This semester we did have clinicals every single week, but our clinical instructor was literally the best, and she was amazing. Like, she really made us feel like we wanted to go to clinical. Like, at least she made me look forward to going to clinical. I finished my registered nursing program on March 25th. Literally the day after my last day, I hopped on a cruise, took a break, I came back to life. After that week, I got back to the books and I started going over UWorld and the Mark Clement lectures once again, because if it worked for me when I was on an LPN, why wouldn't it work for me when I'm an RN? I did this for a whole month, and I scheduled my RN NCLEX for April 23rd. We had not yet graduated, but my graduation was set for April 28th, and I really wanted to pass my NCLEX before walking on that stage, so that when I did walk on that stage, I knew that I was officially a registered nurse and I had the initials after my name. So for 3 weeks, I literally studied Monday through Friday. I would do 100 questions of UWorld Monday through Friday, and then I would listen to 1 lecture every day. And I took my NCLEX on April 23rd. The only person that knew I was taking my NCLEX was my fiance, because I knew if I had turned my phone off and he started calling me, he would start freaking out. He would call my parents. They probably would get the police involved and be like, where's Lorena? Because I wouldn't be home, I wouldn't be at his house. So I was like, where's Lorena? Like, she's always here or there. Like, where is she? So I decided to tell him just so that he would be aware of where I would be. I went into took my NCLEX, I was literally shitting my pants. As you guys, if you guys saw that video, you guys would literally see the nerves that I was having that day. If you guys really want to see how I was really feeling that day to the T, go and watch that video. I have it like linked up here. I was nervous. I did not want to go through the whole LPN thing again. It brought me a lot of reassurance and a lot of calmness was knowing I did put the time and the effort in RN school, something that I had not done for my LPN. So the next day after my RN NCLEX, I logged in, I did the whole $7 thing again, and I saw that I had passed. I surprised my mom with a cake that said, "Your daughter is an RN." Then I also surprised my fiance with the same cake, and it was just so nice. That's when I realized that no matter what you put your mind to, you are capable of anything. It was very emotional. It was very exciting because I said, well, there's one more thing that I have accomplished. That was basically it. Now that that's in the past and that is what I have done in my nursing journey so far, I have jumped on another goal and another thing that will continue my nursing journey. Started my master's in nursing. It's completely online, so it's not too difficult to balance it out with everything, but I can hopefully soon and like within a year become a nurse practitioner. Apart from that, I also started a new job. I started working at the best hospital in my community, and I'm working on the neuroscience unit. I do get some cardiac, definitely not what I intended on doing. I kind of wanted to be more of an ICU nurse or a mom and baby nurse, like labor and delivery, but it wasn't available. So I chose neuroscience because there's so much to learn about the brain and the heart that I said, you know what, let's just do it because we are going to get so much knowledge out of it and we're not going to regret it at any point in time. Your girl is a neuro nurse right now and she is loving it so far. My preceptor is literally amazing and the whole unit has been so welcoming and so loving since day one, since they met me, and it just feels so nice. Since I won't go to school to be a plastic surgeon, we will do Botox and fillers and still make an impact in all your beautiful faces and lives and all that. So now that I have told you guys my whole nursing journey, a couple weeks ago I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me specific questions that you guys were wondering or that you guys had. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and go through those questions and answer them for you all. The first question is, any study tips on how to pass the board exam for LPN? Yes, literally just do the Mark Clemming lectures. You can find them on Spotify and do UWorld questions. UWorld is a little expensive, but guys, trust me, it's worth it. You will literally make the money with your first nursing paycheck. What nursing specialty are you doing now? Right now I'm doing neuroscience, but we also get cardiac patients. I'm a nurse from India. Did you complete a 3-year diploma of nursing course? My LPN was a 2-year only because I did it part-time, and then my registered nursing one was 18 months because I was already an LPN going for my RN. Do you recommend going to Galen? Honestly, I do recommend going to Galen. I think the only semester where I would tell everybody don't go to Galen was the second semester, which was mom and baby and mental health. Overall, I would recommend going to Galen. If you can get past that semester, you'll be completely fine. Everybody truly really wants you to succeed and to pass, so the support system is amazing there as well. What were your daily tasks when working in a nursing home? Still go to my nursing home once in a while to just pick up extra shifts because I miss my patients there and the staff members there. For all the daily tasks at a nursing home are medications, so you're giving medications to your patients, you're completing your wound care, you're doing admissions and discharges. Working at a nursing home as an LPN is honestly the best thing because you will learn a lot at a nursing home, but it will get to the point that you will feel like there's no more to learn, and that's when you go to a hospital and you build on those skills that you have already mastered. How was it when you first started working as an LPN? It was very difficult. Although I was agency, the facility chose me and they trained me for a good couple weeks, and then when I was comfortable, I started jumping to other nursing homes. It was difficult, but like you get used to it in a couple weeks. Nursing essentials when it comes to hairstyles and dressing up your scrubs. I love always styling my scrubs with a jacket, with a very fuzzy jacket or something cute like that. When it comes to hairstyles, a lot of claw clips and a lot of headbands. Was it hard to transition from LPN to RN with school and work? Something I will say, I always recommend everyone to transition from LPN to RN because as an LPN you have the basics and then you just build up from there with your RN. With work, yes, it's difficult, but if you can balance your life and you can find like a good balance, you can manage it just fine. What are your biggest study tips and how did you get enough sleep for early AM clinicals? I did not sleep, people. I would literally sleep 4 to 5 hours a night and go to clinical like that and go to work like that and go to school like that. Like, I did not sleep at all. My mental health dipped a little bit, but not too much, but it's because I wasn't sleeping. So yeah, you really don't sleep because you're always worried about something. So I honestly didn't sleep. My biggest study tips were always using flashcards and watching Level Up RN on YouTube. How did you manage your loan if you took one out? So lucky for me, I did not take a loan out. I actually paid my school out of pocket. That is another reason why I was working so many crazy hours. Did you do an LPN to RN program or an RN to BSN program? I did an LPN to ADN program. I have an RN associate's degree, skipping my bachelor's and going straight to my master's. What specialty do you see yourself working now that you're an RN? I saw myself working in ICU or labor and delivery. Now I'm in neuroscience, but long term I want to be doing Botox and fillers as a nurse practitioner. Hardest part about being a nurse. Hardest part about being a nurse is seeing people pass. Death is a real thing. Over time you get better with handling it, but it never gets easy. How do you stay motivated? Girl, I literally stay motivated with pre-planning trips. As long as I know I have a trip planned or I have something excited planned, I stay motivated up until that trip or that date or whatever it is, and that's basically what helps me keep motivated. And a lot of self-care. Guys, take care of yourself. Nursing can be draining, so you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. How is it working in a hospital as a nurse? Is it hard? Personally, for me, I haven't found it as hard as other new grads because other new grads are like straight out of school. Like, they don't have the LPN experience that I have over the past 3 years. So to me, it's a little easier, but it still gets difficult because it's such a completely different setting between the nursing home and the hospital. So that is it for all the questions in this video. I hope this video answered a lot of your questions and also encourages all of you guys to either go into nursing or to continue your nursing career, or just keeps you guys motivated as you guys are going through nursing school. Guys, keep texting me, keep sending me DMs, keep sending me questions. I have met so many of you through Instagram because you guys have decided to reach out, and you guys are so, I just love you guys so much. So please feel free to DM me any questions that you guys have, any specifics. Definitely respond at some point. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it for you all, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. So bye.